Walter Burien is an advocate of government financial accountability and budgeting. And he was enlisted in the U.S. military, goes through that, forwarded to nuclear power school. He put in early discharge the Navy, United States Naval Academy, worked at Xerox Corp, Princeton, and then he was a big trader on the stock and exchange, did a bunch of key work that let him discover just some amazing stuff that was going on. It's just best for him. And Walter, we've got like 30 new affiliates since you were last on or more. So just talk to me like I'm a 6-year-old. That's the best way I learn. Everybody else learns. But when you first covered this 14 years ago, it's all been vetted out now. Now it's a mainstream term. People know about the double set of books, just like they now know about the Federal Reserve. They don't know as much about this as they do about the Fed, but it all ties together. So you got the floor to describe what the comprehensive annual financial reports are, what the double set of books are, what the private corporate takeover through government is. And it's good to have you back with us, Walter Burien.
Good to be back, Alex. I just had one comment for Dave, your previous caller.
Yes.
And that one comment is, predators do not like armed prey. About over 10 years ago, I did a little statistical survey. I was a commodity trading advisor, and I'm quite familiar with graphs and charts and so forth. And I looked at each state for the highest and strongest taxation and money taking from the populace, state by state. And then I did a comparison with the least restringent gun ownership laws. Well, when you compare the charts side by side, the states that are taking or stealing the most amount of money from the population has the most stringent gun control laws. The states that were taking the least amount of money from the population have the least restrictive gun laws. And I go back to what I said before, predators do not like armed prey.
Look at Daley, that big, fat, admitted mob boss wanting everyone's guns, period. They're a bunch of predatory scum, and, oh, they make me sick. We're supposed to not like people that want us to be their slaves, as you know, Walter, and you've been through hell, through government persecution, with them taking your son, everything else, but you're supposed to love it. You're supposed to thank the government. You're supposed to worship them and appreciate all the evil they give you. You're supposed to say, thank you, sir. Can I have another? Please rub it in.
Now, when you say government also, keep in mind, people have this false illusion. They say government, and they draw a blank. Government is made up of individuals with names, addresses that are running the show. Now, at the top echelon, the congressmen, the senators, the governors, 70% now are attorneys. Everyone knows the reputation of an attorney. You got to use me or else you'll be destroyed. And then once you use them, we're going to take as much money as we think we can get from you. And then once they screw you, they say, they act all indignant, and if you don't say thank you. And we now have 70% attorneys running the entire show, walking with as much cash as they can take now, and dotting the I's and crossing the T's to lock in the productivity value of the next 5 to 7 generations. Now, let's get a clue. Is there a problem here? Yes. And it needs to be corrected.
Well, in every case in history, elite groups get together and try to get control of the population and then make them slaves. That's 101. But you said during the break you wanted to talk briefly about the new 9/11 info that's come out. Then let's get into the,
my bio. If you looked, I was a tenant at One World Trade Center back in 1978 to 1980. And the key point I see a lot of people are missing. It goes way back to when they were planning on building the towers. They had lawsuits filed against them from the surrounding buildings saying that you're not going to build this gigantic tower if it fell over to take out 20 or 30 buildings. So they had to come up with a design that was guaranteed not to cause that problem. So the original design, which was approved and the lawsuits were dropped, was to build a center core steel column in the center, which would act as a guidepost for all of the suspended floors. The floors would be suspended on that center steel core column, and in any event that for whatever reason the tower was collapsing, it would pancake it down around the center steel core. So picture that center steel core as a broomstick, and the floor is supported on it. And if they started to collapse, bang, 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 down on the guidepost. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, period, that if the floor started collapsing around the guidepost was to be left standing. So you would have the entire tower collapse and this massive center steel core column in the center.
But instead, they were blasted off at perfect intervals and ejected out 600 feet.
Well, let's say, for argument's sake, the plane generated 20,000 degrees of heat and melted the steel core columns on that floor. Then you'd have the entire upper floor topple, and the rest of the steel core column staying in place. So there is no ifs, ands, or buts, period, end of story. That tower was demolished for the center steel core to drop with the floors that were pancaking down. No ifs, ands, or buts, end of story.
Absolutely, Walter.
The original design of the World Trade Center towers, and that point, you'll find out that that steel core was designed to be left standing as the guidepost for the collapsing floors.
All right, Walter, now I want to get into the main reason you're here, and I appreciate you coming on, and we'll give people your website. You have a new film out for people available on the website, and you've got a director's cut coming out soon that I hope you put on DVD so we can offer it because, of course, I produced a little documentary with you in it called Comprehensive Annual Financial Report Exposed on Infowars.com. It's on DVD, but that was made 12 years ago. So much more has happened since then. Your new update, everything you talked about 12 years ago has now come true. But again, let's go back to your awakening, what you discovered. You got involved in the news media. You found out about the Comprehensive Annual Financial Reports. And now what's happened? Because, again, you expose this. You expose the fact that this is an organized mafia criminal operation. Every city manager knows. I've had city managers in my studio on other issues, and I bring this up, and they get this big, giant smile and turn red.
And don't say a word.
And they won't say a word, and they just start laughing, you know, even though it's been, quote, patriots. One of them was a good guy who's fighting the NAFTA highways, and I brought this up, and he just laughed and turned red during the break and said, I'm not getting into that. So this is the big, delicious secret. So let's break it down.
Well, the beautiful part is it's actually not a secret. It's there in plain sight. The whole game was the silence is golden routine. Never talk about it, never mention it. No one would look, no one would think about it, no cognitive thought created. But I found out about this back in 1990. There was a governor who got elected by the name of Jim Florio in New Jersey on a new tax platform. As soon as he gets in, $2.8 billion tax increase. It was drafted by the prior administration, but he could have vetoed it. There were two DJs that were operating at 101.5 FM in Trenton, John and Ken. We're now out in Los Angeles, the John and Ken Show. Well, they started doing rabble-rousing, saying, no, they can't do this to us, we got to stop it and repeal this tax increase. And I called into the show, just reading from the budget report at the time, 1990's budget report from New Jersey. They had $11 billion on budget, $6 billion off budget, service budget $17 billion, net available about $25.3 billion. And, you know, John and Ken goes, well, we have to stop this, they have so much money. And 10 of us got together and incorporated a group called Hands Across New Jersey. I took over looking at the budget, revenue, and finance, being a commodity trading advisor and dealing with numbers. You know, $1 or $10 billion. It's just a number where the population, oh my God, $10 billion, I can't even think there. My mind goes blank. Yeah, it's just a number. So I started looking at the budget report, and I noticed all the income from the autonomous agencies were not there. The interest, massive investment accounts I knew the state had were not there. I said, this is not the whole picture. The director of the budget, Richard Keevy, was on vacation that week. Didn't come back till the following Tuesday. I called his lower assistant. Hi, this is Walter Burien. I'm working on a report for Richard. I have to get it done by Tuesday. I need all the figures on the autonomous agency accounts, interest accounts, investment accounts. He goes, oh, you want comprehensive annual financial report. Bing, first time I heard that before. And got it that Friday. I was only concerned with the bottom line numbers: total cash gross receipts, total investments. Total investments were $188 billion, just for the state government, Inc., not the cities, the counties, just the state. And I started looking for the gross income, total cash gross receipts. The number one question IRS asked in an audit. Found it on page 174 under cash additions. This shows the cumulative income for tax income, investment income, enterprise income, federal grants, whatever income the state had, just state government now, keep in mind. And the figure was approximately $83 billion. Now, that figure, when I saw it, I said, this is the definition of organized crime. Here they are promoting a $17 billion operating budget And in the overall picture, they're bringing in $83 billion. And, I started digging, and I found
I'll tell you what,
out
stay
that,
there. You're digging. And then the rest is history.